All right, we are live for our team call. Happy Monday, you guys. It is Monday, May 18th. Y'all, this month is just flying by. So we've got some announcements to make. Mixed berry, drop in the chat. Who got mixed berry today? I did, and I'm so excited. All right, so mixed berry launched today, you guys. If you are having issues with the thing, I know it took me like forever to fix it. I just cleared my browser history and I waited a little while and now it's working. So if you were having issues with it earlier, try it again. You should be able to get through. I'm also going to post and I'll send it to Jess because I don't know if she saw it, but I saw Kelsey Shackley had shared something like a way to fix it if it's like, the spinning wheel of death that was happening today. I don't know if anyone else got that, but it just kept spinning and spinning and spinning. It was so annoying, but it finally went through on my end. But she had shared a tip, I think, in the roundtable, I guess, and it's been shared with me on how to fix it. Something about like you go into a different browser. I don't know. I'll share that in the team page, and I'm sure I'll share it with Jess so she can share it too. So Mixberry launched. Tell your team, tell your clients, tell everyone about it. Send out an email to past energized people and let them know, because apparently Mixberry is like everyone's jam, since according to the website, since the basic crashed today. So make sure you get it if you have not gotten it. One tip, you guys, that I just wanted to kind of plug here is that if you're like, I don't really know if I'm gonna like it, and maybe that's why you haven't jumped on it yet, get the packets, like the little, stick packets. And if you end up not liking it, send those out to your clients as like a little thank you, right? I actually got both. Like I got a tub and the packs because I want to send them out as little thank you gifts. But my clients love when I do that. And I think it's just it's a good way, number one, to get it to your clients that maybe have never tried Energize. And then they get to try the new flavor too. So just a little tip. If you're like, I don't really know if I'm gonna like mixed berry, that's just a great way. And it's a great way, even if you feel like you're gonna like it. If you want to order a tub and packets, that's what I did, so that I could send them out as like a little thank you. And all you have to do, you guys, is send it in like an envelope, like a little thank you note. It's not like you have to go to the post office to like ship anything either. I literally just stick it in a little thank you note with a card, just writing like a little handwritten note, which I think goes a long way, right? Because it shows people that you're like very thankful that they signed up with you. So just putting that out there. All challenge packs are $20 off still, you guys. Super cheap challenge packs right now. Make sure you're reaching out to anyone who's giving you a money objection, because I mean, come on, like $140 for a year of workouts and a month of shakes. That's just insane to me. I think Carl is on like crack or something, because I just don't understand why it's so cheap. So make sure you're reaching out to your people. Team calendars posted in the team page. Make sure that you check that out for upcoming things that are happening this week. We've got some announcements to make, which I'm super excited about. We've got some new Emerald coaches to shout out. Awesome job, girls. Last week we had an Emerald in a day, or Emerald in 24 hours call, and obviously these girls made that happen. So shout out to you. If these are one of your coaches, make sure you shout them out in the chat. Awesome job, you guys. And then Team Florida Fit, our team is going into week 4 of 4-star qualifying, which is crazy, but we're so excited. So make sure that you're staying active, you guys. Make sure that your coaches are staying active. Make sure that you're continuously growing your team, because that's really going to help us lock that goal in. So last week, you guys, this is the last week to qualify or start qualification, right, Jess? This is the last week? There, yeah, okay. But qualification for our Summit Diamond Dinner. I actually just saw a post, and Beachbody has kind of announced a little bit about what they're going to be doing for Summit, so we will post that in the team page too. But our Summit Diamond Dinner and team celebration, this is the last week to start qualifying for that, you guys. And it doesn't matter like if you have 2 coaches underneath you or if you've got 10 coaches underneath you. You could be a diamond coach on Wednesday. Jess signed up, I think, 12 coaches in like a day one time because she had to. She hustled her butt off to hit a qualification. And y'all, it's doable. Like, it is so doable. If you really just lock like your blinders on and you make the decision that you're going to be a diamond coach on Thursday, you can start that qualifying, because you do have to hold it for 6 weeks in order to be a part of our diamond dinner and also this virtual vacay. And if you don't know what that is, or maybe you're like, I've never heard of that, go into our team page. We have a post about it. Jess has a unit or a file on it that kind of goes over what it is, but you're not going to want to miss it. They're going to have guest speakers. They're going to have super trainers with exclusive workouts with these super trainers just for the virtual vacay. And then all of these top coaches that are going to be doing trainings and sharing all the things. So you do not want to miss that. And I think this week is the last week that you can start qualifying for that, which is why we did it for ours too. So just putting that out there. If you guys have questions about that, just let us know. Okay, pushing it over to you, Jess.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I'm so pumped about this. So Melissa just popped on. We have Melissa doing our call tonight, and you know, Melissa's one of those amazing women that I'm going to let her take over, but she's one of those incredible women of faith. I got to hear her speak at leadership, but I knew her much more before that. And she's a 6-star diamond, 4-time elite coach. She's had SC for 64 months in a row. Founder of Team Tenaciously Fierce, and she's a wife and a mama of 3. So, girlfriend, I know that you just got done leading a call and you like quick popped on. So I'm going to hand it right over to you and we're going to let you take it away. And we are just so honored that you took the time to be with us tonight and to share with us and our team. So go ahead and go for it, girl.
Hi, guys. Yes, so I'm a little fired up. So I'm bringing you some heat right off of our Diesel Nation call. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Melissa Gallimay, just like Jess just said. And first off, I just want to honor your leader for just taking the time to reach out to me. I have been a coach for 6.5 years, and guys, I still get nervous for these calls. Like it doesn't just come naturally. And I think I shouldn't say that. It does come naturally because I speak from my heart, but it still makes me nervous because I want to make an impact. And I don't want to get on these calls and not leave you guys with something to go and take away. So I'm going to give you guys a high overview of my story, and then I'm going to give you guys some content. Okay. So my story started very rough, guys. I come from a broken home. My mom was a meth addict most of my life, and my dad was an alcoholic. I was kicked out of my mom's home after bouncing from all my, infant, toddler, early childhood years. I bounced between my moms, my aunts, my dads, and I have lots of broken, very vivid memories of those. But at 11 years old, I worked up the courage after 2 weeks to tell my mom that her husband, who was then her boyfriend, still her husband, had attempted to go up my shirt. And back then they were using drugs, and they were doing a lot of things that when you're in that state, you don't think. And she made the decision to choose her husband over me. And from a very young age, I had a big misconception of where I belonged in this world. And I had a very low self-worth. The day that she kicked me out, we lived in a gang-infested neighborhood in Northern California, and I went out and lost my virginity at 11 years old to a gang member. And I tell you guys all of these things because I want you to understand that I come from a very broken background. I didn't know the Lord my whole life up until about 4 years ago when I found him, really surrendered to the pursuit that he had on my life. And all of those things that happened early on in my childhood led me to addiction, led me to self-doubt, led me to lots of self-harm and misbelief that I could make a difference in this world. My senior year, I fell into addiction myself, and I ended up dropping out of high school 3 months before graduation. And so the woman that you see sitting before you doesn't have a large list. Just read off some accolades that honestly is because of my team. But I'm not coming to you putting on my pants any other way than you do. And I have a lot of broken pieces, but I really feel like God has called me on this journey to make an impact so that I could take my mess and I could turn it into a message to serve others. And so fast forward, I got pregnant at 22 years old, had my first son at 23. And where'd you guys go? You there? Okay. Sorry, my screen went somewhere. I vowed to walk away from the drugs that in the life that I was living there, and I switched addictions and I threw myself into work. And I tried to slam the door closed on the life that I'd lived before. My husband did not grow up like that. He had a completely different upbringing. And so it was so easy for me to put a mask on and to pretend that everything was perfect. And now I was a mom and I had this baby to love and, you know, all these things. But I was drowning in work and alcohol and numbing myself to hide all those things that were going on. In 2012, we had 2 kids by this time. I was working my way up the corporate ladder. I commuted 3 hours round trip. I didn't know how to fuel myself. I literally was surviving off of Red Bulls, any type of energy drink really, candy bars. I would starve myself all day because I thought that the less that you ate, the more weight you would lose. Anytime that I had access to like a hotel gym, I would go and I'd get on for like 5 minutes on a treadmill or an elliptical and then pray that nobody else was going to come in because I was already done and like didn't know what I was doing, right? So working out and eating healthy and all those things, it wasn't normal to me. I think back to my childhood, and the only person in my family who ever talked about weight was my aunt, who was like obsessed with Weight Watchers, which after my first son, she had put me on Weight Watcher, or she had gifted me Weight Watchers, and I dropped 40 pounds. And so in 2012, I had this new sense of confidence, and all the issues that I shared with you, plus a whole bunch of other ones that I didn't, came to a head because I didn't value myself. I felt like I was failing as a wife and as a mom, and that my family would be better off without me. I started seeking attention outward of my family. And when you work in a corporation, you go to these big fancy meetings, right? And back home, that's where the bills and the babies are. And I just felt so empty and lost in what I was doing. And I found myself having an affair. And it's not easy for me to share those things with you guys. It's not something I'm proud of, but I share it with you again because I need you to understand that rock bottom has built more heroes than you will ever believe, right? Just because somebody goes to college and they grew up with a white picket fence and everything outwardly looks great and they have the perfect Instagram filter and they have all those things, doesn't mean anything. So while my family was crumbling and I wasn't sure I wanted to be a wife and I didn't know how to be a mom because the role models that I had, my mom was an addict who kicked me out, and my stepmom was super abusive. They weren't really role models for me. And I just, was beating myself up with all the things that I had done and all these things, and popped in Insanity DVD that my sister-in-law had brought over and was like, okay, I'm going to do this Shaun T thing. This guy is really cool. And on the DVD, it said, sign up for your free coach. I was like, okay, I'll sign up for a coach. Nobody ever reached out to me. I never met anyone. But in the same week, crazy, this lady starts popping up in my newsfeed. And I don't know if she was like a friend of a friend or she had a sponsored like page because we used to do those sorts of things back then, what it was. But my coach is Mindy Horde. And I don't know if any of you guys know her, but she has a really powerful story too. And she comes from a really rough background, but she was sharing her story in a way that made me feel like I was normal. And I didn't know anyone on social media that was airing their dirty laundry and talking about a solution. And I was like hooked. I was like, what is she doing? And how do I do that? But I watched her silently for 13 months before I did anything. And because I was watching her, I also started watching my upline, which I come from Diesel Nation. So Christina Delgado and Rebecca Brose. And I watched these powerful women who were in corporate worlds. Christina was a lawyer. Becky was a VP in a construction company. Mindy was in insurance, who were leaving six-figure incomes to come home to their kids and who were talking about the really hard stuff in their life, but how they came out of it and how they were doing personal development, which my job encouraged personal development, but it was like you had to do it for your job, so I didn't really want to do it. Like they would give me these books and it was like, oh cool. We'd go to these trainings and be like, oh cool. Now I'm like, dang, I wish I would have really soaked that up because that was good stuff. But I was like, okay, I want to do what they're doing. But I was really skeptical because I have zero belief in myself that I could do it. And I had done all these quick fixes. And so honestly, I only wanted to lose weight. I wanted to feel good, but I didn't really know what feeling good meant, because feeling good to me meant numbing out and drinking myself into oblivion and putting a Band-Aid over my problems and putting up passive aggressive memes. They used to be those little box ones with the funny little lady on Facebook. We didn't really have Instagram back then, but and just like being like, oh, the world's so stupid, when really I was struggling with my own crap. And so after watching for 13 months, I made the decision that I was going to sign up, and I started with the 21-day fix, which is what a lot of people in 2014 got started with. And something shifted within me within that first 21 days. And it was like I started to come up to life, and I started to gain confidence. And mind you, my first goal was I just wanted to lose 25 pounds, and I was going to stop shipment on the Shakeology, because who was going to pay $130 when I could go to GNC and get the same freaking thing? Let's be real, right? That was my thought processes. There was just no way that I was going to do this. And I was too busy. Like, I was trying to put back together the pieces of my family and focus on my little boys, that I was not going to have time to build a business. But add me wherever you want, right? So she added me into these groups and these pages, and everyone was encouraging, and everyone was inspiring, and everyone was like, you're doing so awesome. And every time I'd share something that was really uncomfortable, people would tell me to do that more. And it was like, I used to not be able to tell my story without sobbing hysterically, like ugly tears, because there was so much shame wrapped up into it. And so 3 months into my journey, I had hit diamond. I only hit diamond because my coach was going for elite, and I had no idea what that meant, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to be a part of it. I think my whole life I craved to be a part of something so much that anywhere I could fit in, I wanted to. But this felt different. It didn't feel like the catty friendships that I had had, where it's like you walk into a room and everybody's talking about you, and then they stop talking and pretend that things are fine. It didn't feel like my family, where, you know, some really hard stuff had happened, but we're family and we always push through those things. It didn't feel like the friendships that I knew. It was something so fresh and so real. And I hit diamond. I went to my first event for Super Saturday, heard Amy Silverman speak. She talked about buying her first quote unquote luxury vehicle, and it was a Chevy Silverado truck. And I was like, if she thinks the Chevy Silverado truck is luxury, like, I could do this. Like, she's like a normal person, right? And then I spent like $170 on a summit ticket and drove 14 hours to Vegas and crawled into bed with strangers who I met on the internet just so I could go to summit. Didn't even talk to my upline team because I was so intimidated. But remember sitting up in the nosebleeds and watching my coach walk across the stage as an elite coach, and like, it was so cool to me. It was so inspiring. And I remember them talking about Birgitta Lingford, who had got the leadership award that year. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a leader like that. That is so dang cool. And I remember watching Lindsay Matway get the top coach, and I had no idea what the top coach meant. But like, that, the fact that they had done that amazing thing for her meant she probably helped a whole lot of people. And then she spoke and she talked about how her mom was an alcoholic, and I felt connected. And she talked about how she had met her husband after 3 months and that they had a baby. And I felt connected because that was my story too, right? So it was all these women's stories that I was hearing that I could connect to. And so I hope that you guys hear through my story is that it's your mess that's going to be your message, and the test is your testimony. And you can go out and you can share whatever you want and you can put it in a pretty bow. But until you get really raw and vulnerable and help other people carry the baggage that they've got, nothing will transform. So it hasn't been all uphill, but I do lead this amazing team that I'm so proud of. And I have the honor of getting to know people like your guys' leaders and, you know, come on and share these stories, because I know what this business can do for your life if you lean in. And so tonight, guys, I want to talk to you not only about leaning in and connecting with people, but I want to talk to you about getting woven. Okay. So many people, we talk about, oh, make those connections. Make sure you're connecting with 3 to 5 people. Make sure, you know, you go on Instagram and you connect, you know, do the 5-3-1 method, whatever that looks like. But what if we shifted from having lukewarm conversations And we started setting ourselves on fire and bringing people into our circle that we want to do life with, right? I wish I had a little bit better illustration here, but I want to just show you. See how easily I pulled this apart, right? This is how easy it is to connect with someone on a regular basis. When I feel motivated, I'm going to connect with my challenge group. When I feel motivated, I'm going to connect with my coach. When I don't, I'll just pop out, right? But when I have a team that I've woven myself into, no matter how hard I try to pull this apart, nothing's going to come between us, right? And when you're woven in with people, guys, when one of you wins, you all win. And when one of you falls, you all fall. Some of you guys might know this story and some of you guys may not. And I think that they would give me permission to share this with you. But last year, our team had a very big tragedy. Monica Lopez, her baby sister, she lost her life abruptly. And I had chills thinking about it because the way that I saw our team come together, and it wasn't just our team, it was all of Team Beachbody. That just like literally was like shouting out in stories and donating money and all these things. Like it was truly incredible. And it wasn't because Monica was, just merely connecting with the network when she felt like it, or adding in content or adding value to people's lives, right? She wasn't just popping in whenever. She added value. She's woven herself into this community. We are Team Beachbody. Another example I can give you. Remember the guy with the sign? Remember how he tried to bash us and he said, hey, stop posting your workouts? And Carl Deichler was like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And then we all jumped in with our signs. Like everybody probably ran to their garage, was like, I need the biggest piece of cardboard and I'm about to go show this guy with a sign that he has nothing, right? Because we're woven into this community. And when you weave yourself into something, you're a part of it. It becomes your family. And I think about the people on our teams and in our challenge groups. And so I want you guys to pause and do a gut check right now is, are you weaving people into your teams or are you just merely connecting with them, right? So what does that look like? How do you start? Maybe you're like, yep, I'm the best weaver. We have the best culture. We are it. Because guess what? That wasn't me. And I had to do a really big gut check at the beginning of the year because I felt stuck. I felt like, have I been called to this place? Is this my purpose? And guys, I had a really amazing 2019. There wasn't like something that I was like struggling with. I got asked to speak at leadership. I was getting all these opportunities within our team. I brought on, 50 new coaches last year. I hit Success Club 10 every month consecutively. My income grew. We hit Elite for the 4th time. So I should preface this and say, I didn't have this awakening when I was going through a struggle. This wasn't born out of a struggle. This was born out of, I felt stuck and I needed to relight my fire, and my people are my jam, right? And so what does that look like for me? First thing is I went and I set aside one day of the week where I go and I connect with all the coaches on my team. So when you have multiple business centers, that can be challenging, right? But it's not a challenge, right? You can either look at it as something that you're excited about or something that's going to challenge you. So when you're excited or when you're anxious or when you're, struggling with something, I encourage you to change that, your perspective, and channel excitement, because it'll shift everything. And all I did was I popped in and I said, hey, Jess, it's been a while since we chatted. How are you? That's it. People will open up to you and they will connect to you and they will tell you what's going on in their lives. Because chances are, if you're their coach, they chose you for a reason. Or maybe they're a customer lead, or maybe they're inherited, but guess what? They got you. So you get to go and just check in with them. So setting aside one day a month that you can go check in with those people. I'm not saying you have to do this every day. You should be showing up to your team page every day and your accountability groups and your challenge groups, but just going in and doing a check-in. I do not love getting on one-on-one calls. They kind of drain me. But I do love connecting with people. And if I could set aside one day, and in there, we start having conversations, and they might say, hey, I'd really love to get on the phone with you. Perfect. Let's do that, right? I'll set that time aside. The other thing is I started running apprentice groups. So what that looks like is I put people into a pod, depending on what their goals are. So if I have somebody who's pushing for a diamond, they'll go in a diamond pod. And one day a week, I set aside 1 hour to pour into the people in that pod on a Zoom call. And I give them tangible takeaways. I give them personal development recommendations, but they have to show up with their Success Club tracker too. They have to meet me somewhere, okay? So doing that has been a game changer. Do you know how many people are so fired up about getting time with their leader? Sometimes it's just time. It's not the fancy graphics. It's not the fun prizes. Yes, those things help as well, but human connection is what we do best. And when you get really, really good at it, I promise you, it will change the culture of your team. So just setting up those pods. Maybe it's an emerald push pod. And once they hit emerald, they go into the racing for diamond pod, whatever you want to call it. The other thing that I had my team start doing is I said, I want you setting goals on Thursday. And what goal am I talking about? Income. You have a big monthly goal, right? So somebody tells me they want to make $1,000. Perfect. We're going to break that down weekly. And I did Thursdays because we start over on Thursday, right? So if I have Heather who made $239 this week, all she's going to do is she's going to plug that in. She's going to see how far off am I to my goal. What did I do last week that worked? What did I not do? So maybe I didn't make money. And so it helps them take ownership and it helps create that picture for them. The other thing that I've done differently this year is I went into my back office, and you can have all your customers, you can send them a mass email. And I know sometimes that back office email, it'll go to their junk mail, but try it because I've had a lot of success this year and I don't know why, but I just sent out a mass email saying, hey guys, this is Melissa, I'm your coach. I've revamped our challenge groups. If you're not in there, because I did change my challenge group mid-year last year and a lot of people didn't get moved over. And I've always been a Facebook person, so bod groups is kind of new to me. So they got that email, not new, but I didn't use the challenge tracker before. But they got the email for the bod group too. And it just says, hey, we're moving places. And in this group, you're going to get meal plans weekly. You're going to get accountability post and encouragement from me every day. You're going to be surrounded by people who are on a similar journey to you. And it's all a part of the investment that you made, right? If it's an old client, I definitely would have them do like some sort of form so that you can know like what their last program was and what their current goals are. So you can make a goal, you can make a form through Bluefoo, you can make it through Flowdesk, you can make it through whatever is your jam. I'm not the most technical person in the world, but I do people and I can always figure it out. And if you guys don't know, there's an amazing tool that you have access to. It's called Google. It'll literally teach you everything. So if there's something that you need to know, go to Google, you'll find it. Promise you. The other thing that I did was I found that people were getting overwhelmed when they were getting started. How many of you guys can say, like, there's a group for this, and then there's a challenge group for that, and then we have a flash sale over here, right? It becomes a lot. And so I stopped putting my new coaches into my team page right away. Like I always used to get them enrolled, announce them, everyone, and then they go from having 3 notifications to having 300. And they're like, this is too much and I don't want to do it. And so they no longer go directly into the team page. They go into a new coach pod with other new coaches where they can make new coach friends. And what's really cool is they start linking arms and becoming Success Club partners, and they get woven into our team page, right? The other thing that I would say also, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I give my new coaches my cell phone number because they can text me if they have questions and it feels a little bit more personal. 95% of people prefer Messenger, which is totally fine, or email, but now they know they have those things. And so those are some of the things that have made a huge difference within my team this year. And I'll tell you guys, income has been growing for my team. I'm not talking about me, because obviously the more that I do to help them will help me, but their income's growing. And there's nothing better than somebody saying, this week my groceries covered, or my check covered groceries. So many people have been laid off from their job or furloughed. And with so much uncertainty, this has given them some certainty. And what I realized I'm in California, where we're still sitting on our hands and figuring out what's going to happen and when the real world is going to come back and what that looks like. But what I realized was I figured out who really wanted this. And so I don't know what state you're in. I know some of you guys are in Florida, but I don't know where the rest of you guys are in. But if your team is still at home, you figure out who wants this and you run with them right now, because I promise you it will help. The other thing that I did, you guys, that has transformed everything, and I don't have to do this, but I'm choosing to do it because it works for my team, is I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm doing a power hour with my team on the days I don't feel like it, on the days where I didn't sleep well, on the days when it's inconvenient. I'm showing up, and more people are hitting Success Club. More people are pressing play earlier. More people are earning an income. And those are the things that will really help you. And so just really asking yourself, like, what is my team culture? What is my challenge group culture? What is my social media culture? Am I adding value? Do people want to come stalk my page and see what I'm doing next? Am I leaving them hungry for more by sharing my story openly and authentically? Or am I just going to Pinterest and finding a cool post with a pretty picture? Because that will inspire people. But if you really want to move from lukewarm connections and weaving people into your life, you're going to invite them into your story. You're going to allow them to pull a seat up at the table and you're going to help them in ways before they even make a purchase with you. Because I think that truly is the most challenging part, right? You get them started and they're so inspired, and then they're like, okay, well, now what? You're like, but just do the program. But if people aren't motivated, right? You're like, okay, like press play, like use your containers, like drink the water, do something. But when you have that connection with them, I promise you everything will start to shift, and it might not feel like it right away. You might not feel like your team starts being woven right away. But I promise you, when you take the small steps to stop just being connected and popping in when it's convenient or when you're motivated or when you feel like it, things will start to change. Don't let your feelings dictate this opportunity for you, because it will change your life, just like it has so many of ours. And I always like to say, like, there's nothing special. There is something special. This is such a unique opportunity, but there's nothing different that we do that you can't do. Like, there wasn't just, we didn't hit the coach lottery where Carl Deichler was like, okay, Jessica just signed up. She's going to be a 15-star. She's going to be able to push through all these adversities. She's going to be able to provide for her family. Nope, that's not what happened. She showed up despite the struggle, even on the hard days. She leaned into our team. You guys have what it takes. You just have to use the resources. I tell my team all the time, it's not for a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness, and a closed mouth don't get fed. So if there's something you need that you're not getting, ask for it. Tell my kids that too. Like, you have to ask for the things that you want. Let me check my notes really quick because I want to make sure I get all the things for you guys. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to put them in the chat.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, Melissa, one of the things that I've been learning in this season too, that goes along with what you just said, is God is just teaching me that I can always be a blessing to other people. I mean, that's not new, but it's one of those things that continues to show me that, like, I can always be a blessing. There's no reason why I can't encourage. And the enemy is going to get really sick of attacking me if every time he attacks, I go and do something really good. You know what I mean? So that kind of what you're saying hits home, girl.
Yeah, and the other thing is, guys, it doesn't necessarily just have to be within Beachbody that you're weaving yourself in. Think about the community around you. If you're like, I don't have a warm market, or I don't have, anyone within my circle that I need to, go be that leader. Sit on your kids' PTA. Sit on your kids' sports team as the team mom and bring all the snacks. Because when you walk into the grocery store, you want to be known as the person who's gonna help them. And honestly, guys, I love Shakeology. I drink it every single day. Every person in my home does. But I don't want to just be known for the girl who sells Shakeology. I want to be known for the girl who helps people break past their limiting beliefs and transforms their life. Do you know that last week I got a message request from a man on Facebook that said, I know you don't know me, but I've been following your story. I'm struggling with alcohol and I need help. Come on, if that's not God, I don't know what is. Like, that is powerful, you guys. A stranger, a man at that, had the courage to reach out to me and share his vulnerableness. Not because he needed Shakeology, not because he wanted to press play on a workout programs. I will shout from the rooftops all day long. If you were to cut me, I would probably bleed Beachbody blue. That's how much I love our company. But it's not all we do. So start branding yourself and start marketing yourself for the impact that you can make, and stop talking solely about your goals and start leaning into the gifts that God's given you. And I promise you, everything will start to change. I'm leading a Bible study right now. It's called Eat, Pray, Hustle. There's so many people who aren't even building a business that are in there just because they want to be a part of something, right? So create an atmosphere that people want to be a part of. And I promise you, you'll never run out of people to talk to. You'll never run out of friends. You'll never run out of ways to connect with people. There's not a month that I wake up and go, dang, how am I going to hit Success Club this month? That's actually not even on it. It's not. And when I pray in the morning, it's not, God, help me hit Success Club. It's use me as a vessel so that I can impact your people with your message and do your work in the flesh, right? So start thinking about what you want and get very intentional. And guys, pray for the team that you want. Don't focus on what you don't have or where you haven't been yet or how long it's taken you. Don't worry about how long it's taken you. I've been a coach for 6 years. You don't think that my goal hasn't been to be 15-star? I haven't done it yet. I'm not focused on that every single day when I wake up, though. I'm focused on pouring into my people and making connections and serving people with my heart and weaving people into this opportunity because I know that it'll change their lives the way that it has mine. This is a we business. It's not a me business, so don't do it alone, okay? Bring people into it. Think about the people that you want to spend a week with at Summit. Think about the people that you want to go camping with over summer. If you guys were in Northern California, so we camp. Or, go on a girls' spa trip. If it's not the people that you're inviting, start finding your people. Because it's so easy to go out and just talk to anyone, but when you do that, you're not really talking to anyone. So figure out what it is and who you want and why you want it, and I promise you, things will start to change. And the last thing that I want to say is our ranks are important, but they're not everything. So start thinking about what your true calling on your life is and start working towards those things. And I promise you guys, things will start to shift. Your businesses will start to transform. You'll start to have more meaningful conversations. You'll have joy every single day that you get to do this. Because I know it's so easy to throw up your sweaty selfie, and that'll inspire someone to press play, I promise you. But we want to transform people's lives and help them get healthy from the inside out. And we want to help them take the deepest, darkest parts of their story and heal from it, just like it has me. So I'm open to any and all questions that you guys might have, but I think that's all I have.
Girlfriend, your message is so powerful. It's so powerful. Thank you for speaking truth to us tonight, for being vulnerable, number one, for speaking truth and just the encouragement. And honestly, I know that we were kind of blowing up the chat on this, but that imagery, it's so simple, but it's so good about connecting, right? Versus being woven together. And it's such a powerful tool. And I remember last year when that tragedy happened within the team that you're on, and how Beachbody came together and how powerful that was. And I love that message because it reminds us that we have such an incredible group of people. And truly, it's not, yeah, like you said, we love, yes, Jesse, about Jamie too. We love Beachbody. Yeah, absolutely. But so much of this and the people coming together and joining together is so much further beyond Beachbody. It's so much, it's just so powerful. And it's a heart and it's a movement of people that need the message like the one that you shared tonight, which I got to hear some of to an extent at leadership. And every time you speak, it really resonates with my heart. So I just wanted to share that with you. Do you guys have any specific questions for Melissa? And if you do, go ahead and unmute yourself or write it in the chat. I think that we're walking away from tonight very, like, our hearts are full. So our hearts are full. And not only that, I would say that we're pretty motivated. So thanks for that, girl.
The other thing, guys, that just came to me, and I don't know if I said this on the call, is if you don't feel connected and you don't feel woven and you feel like it's easy to sit back and, you know, just observe the fire and you don't really know your place in it, my best advice is just immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get close to the things, go where you're envious, because nobody can do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, your coach can shoot you a message and ask how you are, and it's up to you to respond and say, hey, this really heavy stuff's going on in my life, or responding, I'm good, how are you?
Yeah.
But we don't want to settle for I'm good. I want you to start calling people out and saying, well, crap, you haven't been showing up, you haven't been posting, you haven't been engaged, what's going on? I got you, we'll get through this, because guess what, I've been feeling like that too. So how can we weave together and get through this? So
yeah,
I have a quick question.
I'm glad you said that too. Go ahead, Julie.
So sometimes I get really nervous when I get people messaging me, you know, mostly on Instagram that I don't know. And your story about the guy that reached out to you, how did you like initially respond to that? Because I mean, I can definitely say that there's been a few times where I just deleted and blocked because I was scared that it was just like some type of spam, or, you know, like, how did you figure out that that person was like a real person?
Well, I looked and I went and like searched his page really quick before I approved the message, because I just saw, you know, Cody Torres wants to send you a message, and so I went and scrolled it really quick and I saw he was a dad. He was within the same county as me. We had some mutual friends. And I just said, hey, Cody, I can give you some advice for sure. The best thing is to make sure you know why you want to make this change. And that's all I responded. And then, like, you can get, if they're sending you weird messages like, hey, babe, like, I don't even open them. I don't do that. Yeah. Like, take that somewhere else. Okay. But like, he literally was like, I'm reaching out because I need help. And so I guess I would say is do your homework and don't judge a book by its cover, because you might be put in that position to help somebody out of their darkness. And you might not recognize it. And God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And if that person's being planted in front of you, chances are it's for a specific reason. Ask questions. I'm a big question asker. And I also want to know, like, whatever the situation is, like, they have to have a commitment, right? I can't do all the work. And I'm also not going to actively pursue, like, I'm not going to go out and I don't go out and look for guys. Men are not my niche. I work with hot mess, crazy moms, like, who are trying to juggle time. So I think you'll know in your gut, you know, just use that discernment of what you think it is, but don't be afraid if somebody reaches out to you. What does it look like? Sorry. What does it look like for sharing on a weekly basis as far as posting, being vulnerable? You know, I am pretty intentional with my post and what it looks like, but there's sometimes where I just feel prompted to share something, and I do. And honestly, a lot of times those spontaneous posts are the real, raw, vulnerable ones where I just feel like I have to share, because a lot of the times I'm afraid to share it, but I need to, and it helps me more than it's helping other people. But I know every single week I'm going to do, you know, a call to action post for the coaching opportunity. I do a call to action in my stories every single day on Instagram. But with sharing my story, I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily plan that unless there's like a picture that prompts something. But I do share, I would say, if you haven't shared your story in a while and you're telling yourself a story that everyone's already heard your story, go back and share it again, because if you're doing your diligence of adding to your network, there's somebody else in there that needs to hear it. One thing I just did, you guys, and I'll give you this tip. So I live in Hidden Valley Lake, California, which is like 3,500 people. We live in a gated community on a golf course, not a lot of people, right? But I was added into this larger group that had like 1,000 people, and it was called Wine and Dash. And I didn't tell you guys, but I did get sober. I've been sober for 3 years. And so in this group, it was fine. It doesn't offend me if other people drink. I can't, and I don't. I feel like God has a different calling on my life, and I choose not to drink. So that didn't bother me, but there was like so many people. I was like, I'm going to do it within our little community. And I did it, and I went from 0 people to almost 200 in this little group now. And all we're doing is you pick a person to go and surprise and drop a basket off at their house. And you can put, like, I did like bubbly waters and beach bars and face masks. I ran to Target yesterday. And it really just blesses somebody and it adds joy to their life. And that's how you can start new friendships and relationships, right? So it's not always going to be a call to action post. Sometimes it's going to be those joy bombs that you're dropping on your page to brighten someone's day. So I know that probably didn't answer completely, but do plan out your month. And if you're a type A person, not like me, I'm a squirrel, but there's some really good videos on YouTube that Melanie Mitro's done, who's like genius at building those monthly marketing calendars. And I know that there's certain girls on my team who literally have an album for every day of the week of what they're going to post. So you have to figure out what works for you. But I always post a call to action. I am always talking about like whatever current program I'm in. I share my food, things like that. Like right now I'm in the MBF test group. And so I'm trying to really sprinkle that, even though I can't share a lot. So.
Awesome, girl. Let's see. Oh yeah, Wine Fairy. Love it. I love that you just said joy bombs, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it. That's awesome. I like that you said too, like as far as getting woven, one of the things that you said too is that, we know that it's not about, and you touched on this, Melissa, and I'm thankful that you said this, but it's not all, it's everyone's responsibility too. Like it's, your coach can, check in and stuff, but we need, if you, like she said, if you feel like you're disconnected, it is your responsibility to also be a part of that. You can't expect somebody to just be pulling and pulling and pulling. Like it's a woven knit unit. And I love that. I love that you said that too. I think that that's really important.
Yeah. I just think that as coaches, sometimes we feel like it's our responsibility, and then we feel like, oh, we're failing if so-and-so automatically sends in a coach cancellation form or they don't get the results that they wanted. But take some responsibility and some initiative. And I'm very clear up front now about that as well with my clients. It's like, I'm only one of me, and I have 3 humans that really need me to do things for them. And that is my first priority, is my husband and my kids. And you're an adult and you're making an investment into yourself, and I love you and I will love on you and I will cheer you on, but you gotta show up.
Yeah. And same thing with coaches. And yep. I am the same way. And guys, if you don't do this, I think it is helpful. 'Cause like you just said, you set that expectation. And so I always talk about how like they'll have absolute daily accountability in our group, and then obviously you're going to check in, but you don't want people to sign up with you with the expectation that you're going to be calling them every single day and you're going to be hand-holding them every single moment of every day. Like that's not how this works, but it's our job to also set up that expectation so that they kind of understand that. And so I think that's solid. But I think overall, just again, your story is incredible. I have a question about your Bible study. Is it something that you kind of put together yourself, or is it something that you are working with like a book or whatnot?
Yeah. So the book is called Eat, Pray, Hustle:
That's what you said. Yes. Okay.
Tracing James God's Way. And it's a 40 day study. I have to look when I get home, but it literally just takes you through, and we do one a day. And I make one post in the group. I do a Monday night. Actually, I canceled tonight because I had back-to-back calls tonight. So I did basically a call to action in the group. And that's the other cool thing, is you can start forming coaches and groups like that, because the ones who are engaged, you're like, oh, you are coach material. But it's literally just helping people see, the calling of their life, and that the seeds are planted, and that sometimes it isn't always the way that we want it to look. I never grew up and thought I would be a coach. Like, what was a coach?
Right.
So really teaching people that to lean into their gifting. So it is a book. It's incredible. You can get it online. I think you can get it on Kindle too. But.
Cool. I love it. I love it. All right, ladies. Well, I just want to thank you again, Melissa, and I'm going to pray over our team, and I'm going to pray over you, if that's cool with you, which I'm pretty sure it is. And if you guys need to go, it's all good. I totally understand. I do want to let you know too, on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time, we are doing a network-wide, I'm joining up with a couple girls to do a network-wide prayer. And it's just going to be a time of encouragement. It's really simple. The truth is, guys, is that when Kira says, mommy, ouchie, amen, God hears it just as much as if I were to go on and on, right? So it's really just a time to come together and just be able to lift up our network, whether it's a season of harvest or desert. It's just a great time for us to be woven, if you will, right? So if you guys can come to that, I know that I've posted it in our team page. Jesse has the information. Melissa, I think you saw it. I posted in the roundtable. You guys it's for everybody. So whether you pray normally, come. If you never pray, come. If you've only prayed a couple times, come. It does not matter. There's nothing required of you. We're just going to come together, and a few of us are going to pray and encourage you. Okay. So, so I'm going to go ahead and pray first. Now, Jesse, did you want to add anything? Or are you good? You good?
Okay, thank you so much. This is great.
Yeah. My pleasure.
All right, guys. Father God, I just thank you so much. I thank you for Melissa. I thank you that she took her time tonight with her 3 littles and her husband. She took her time to pour into a couple teams tonight, and I thank you so much for her being a part of this call. And I just pray a blessing over her. I thank you that she is so open with her story and being just a messenger of your message. And I thank you for that, Jesus, and just that she can be such a blessing to so many people, and that, we all go through stuff, and the fact that she is a voice now, God, you're using her, and it's powerful. And so I thank you for that anointing on her life, and I pray that you just continue to increase it, and that you continue to increase the impact and the influence that she has to be able to share her story. And God, I pray for all of our teams and our network. And God, I just pray that you would just continue to use us, that we would really just go into this each day thinking about the people that we could help and the people that we could be a light to. And so we lift that up to you, God. We surrender it. We surrender this business to you. We know that we're all going for different things right now in this season, and that you have a plan for each and every one of us. And so we just lay it at your feet, knowing that your plan is absolutely best. I do lift up Jessie right now and her girls and their qualification right now for 4-star, and just how incredible that is. And God, I pray that you would just continue to use them and help them as they're going through that qualification. And God, I pray that you would protect us. The enemy is always going to try to tell us that we can't do things that you've called us to do, number one. And number two, God, we just know that you are fighting for us every step of the way. And so no matter what it is, God, I just pray that you just continue to protect us, and that we would just accept your peace and know that it's always there for us. And so I pray the fruit of the Spirit over us. And I thank you for who you are again, Lord. And we give you all these things. And thank you again for Melissa and her time tonight, in your name. Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you so much again, Melissa. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, guys. Bye, Lovey.